Oh, we are live. Welcome back to Marketing Qualified. I am Ref Nick, and I'm
I
here
am
with Miss Swedish Fish
Miss
on a
Swedish.
Friday morning. How the heck are you?
Wow, it's Friday again.
I know, and you know
Isn't
what?
it amazing that it's once a week?
Once a week, I know. Since I'm Ref Nick, I'm going to call an audible. I'm calling an audible. I'm putting a flag on the play, people. Flag on the play to talk. I'm going to give you a truth flag. The truth about brand positioning and the truth about humor.
I love both. Let's start with brand positioning.
Brand positioning. So we joke all the time about B2B branding. And we just obviously, before we went live, we're talking about B2Bs can sometimes be boring. We believe B2B doesn't have to be boring. But I think the big question everybody should always ask themselves is your brand positioning clear?
Yeah. I mean, I think the majority out there, they believe it is, but the same like the majority of that majority is wrong. It's pretty bold, but I think a lot of times it might be clear somewhere up top, but then when it trickles down to the people that are actually executing a lot, like who's in the field, it may not be the same vision or idea of vision like up there.
So if you look at the newsletter this week, there's a test. We recommend doing this. And it's also like, referees look at plays differently. And sometimes what the ref sees and what the player sees and what the fan sees sometimes can be different, right? You can see different things, but it's an important test. So the statement really is ask yourself, insert your customers, what's the pain point? So our competitors do X, but we think our solution is better, so we do X. The thing is, if you try to do this independently, whether it be from a salesperson, a marketing person, accounting, whatever, some within the company, it's a pretty fun exercise to see where the views differ.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a play on the field, some things you're going to see it in a different way.
Could it be? Is there at any point you think that it's okay that it's different? Like if you think about different roles in a company?
So I think if the answers are roughly the same, that's a good thing, right? Do the words have to be exact? No, but does the sentiment and around it clear? It should be close, because if it's really vastly different, then there probably is a problem, because then each person is a representative of the company. They need to be able to express what the company does, what's the value proposition. And like we joke, right? At the end of the day, everybody's in sales. Whether they believe it or not, everybody's in sales, because if you work for a company, you work for yourself, or whatever you do, you represent that business. So you have to be able to explain it in a way that makes sense. Again, not the same words per se, but the same message.
You know what? I still I struggle with this explanation. I've been struggling since the first day in tech. I think my husband is like, "What do you do again?" And I probably am like that example that I never really got it fully nailed down in previous roles. Like, what is this vision?
And I think part of it also, you have to think about the difference between positioning of what a company does versus what's the purpose of the company, right? So a company can have a purpose of this is what they're doing for the greater good, so to speak, but then this is the solutions that they deliver to bring it forward. So as an example, for Real Access, right, we talk a lot about we guide B2B firms to at least have 1% improvement in their sales and marketing efforts, right? That's our purpose. That's what we're trying to do. That's not the solutions that we offer. We deliver that 1% improvement in their sales and marketing efforts through lots of other things, whether that be newsletters, marketing support, strategy, case studies, all those different types of things. So it is different. So I think we're just suggesting any company should just try to do this test and see what happens. At the end of the day, it's worth a good conversation.
Yes, we should do it too. And then maybe we'll share that later.
All right. So that's the brand positioning conversation, right? So let's jump to the other topic, which I think we obviously have a lot of joy over and always have fun with. And we've talked about it, I think, in the past on on our rundown, which is humor.
Yeah. I feel like we should have started this live sooner because we had some good conversations before we actually went live on this topic.
I know, typical us, right?
Typical us. But yes, humor. And again, I feel like I'm preaching this a lot, but it's in B2C all the time. They use humor. B2B, we're just lagging. And I think it's hard because the perception of B2B is that it's serious.
Yeah.
Serious. But serious can still be fun. And I think if you're a B2B company and willing to kind of branch out a little bit, if you trust that, like lean into humor with like a professional twist, I think you will break through the noise.
So let's use, we could even, there's obviously lots of examples, but we'll call out one of our clients this week who I think is master of humor, a gentleman, a company called One Technology. We have the utmost respect for them and for Matt, who's their leader. Their ability to use humor by far is a true Harvard Business Case review of the right way to do it. And they use humor through lots of different ways, right? Self-depreciation, making fun of themselves, or just making fun of the industry and how things are out there, and whether that be having burrito eating contests or just having funny memes and pictures and things like that. So it's at the end of the day, it's humanizing the business, right? And I think a lot of people believe B2B it's always super corporate. Well, it doesn't have to be. You can be humanize yourself. And I think the big stat that was in the newsletter today was that 90% of people are likely to recall a brand that's associated with humor versus not, which that stat alone doesn't tell you that you should add humor, then I think you're just missing the boat.
Definitely. And I think, again, that people need to understand that humor can be seen and leveraged in so many different ways. You don't have to host burrito eating challenges to be funny. There's so many ways that you can do this with style, so you're not like overdoing it. But again, you do it to break through the noise, because there's a lot of noise out there.
Yeah, and I think you've always been great at stating this, is that authenticity is key, right? So you don't be, if your brand doesn't really, the humor part of it doesn't really resonate with you, don't push it, right? Like, you can be yourself, but the humor has to be aligned to the authenticity of the person and the brand of the company. Otherwise, it just comes across as forced, right?
Yeah, and if you're stuck on this, I bet a lot of people watching this are don't really know where to begin and how do I do this. I would even pop this into ChatGPT. You should know who you are, your vision, and what you're doing, and just brainstorm. Ask ChatGPT or Claude or whatever you're using to ideate different ideas on how you could potentially implement humor in your marketing campaigns that's trying to do X. Because that's a good start.
This is a good example from obviously MailChimp. This, and it's kind of hard to see, I guess, but this was, they made fun of themselves, right? Of mail shrimp, fail chips, mail crimp.
So it came from people mispronouncing their name. Which is,
so they leaned into it. Which I thought this was great.
The best way to use humor, either something like that, someone else is mispronouncing your name or who you are and what you do, or when you've done something wrong, instead of hiding, just own it, but own it in a humorous way. Turn a table.
But have fun, be authentic, and make sure that it is aligning with you. But I think the key point here is the stats and the metrics would tell you humor will improve your brand and improve your engagement. And that alone, it doesn't have to just be in the B2C space.
No.
All right. What else about humor?
I don't have anything else about you.
Is a Swedish joke we should tell?
Oh, I wish I could tell a joke in Swedish.
All right. Well, those are the two topics for today. I think we have one more, my favorite part of the session.
Ta-da!
Oh, man. Pivot tables. Man. The funny part about this meme, though, is obviously, marketers don't always love pivot tables and some of the analytics, but it's really changed. And I think the other thing that has been great about ChatGPT and AI in general is that the ability to really use these new tools to help analytics and help analysis, so marketers can move closer to the edge of numbers. So, which is great.
It's a lot easier today.
It's a lot easier today. Yeah. So
that's it for today.
That's it for the rundown.
That is the rundown. Need to mention it again. If you have not subscribed, head over to marketingqualify.co to get this newsletter every week in your inbox. You should also, if you haven't already checked out Partner Science, it's partnerscience.tech. It's the second or third of our newsletters that we pushed out, give you a lot of tips and tricks and science behind how to grow partnerships. Check it out.
Indeed. All right. The Swedish Fish, thank you again. Have a great week, and we will see you all next week.
Bye.
Rep Nick out.